GearNetwork.com.
This is a Gear Network production.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Gear Network presents the Football Talk Weekly Podcast with John Cimino and Brandon Garrell. And now, here's John.
Week 3, everybody, here at the Football Talk Weekly Podcast on the Gear Radio Network. How the hell are all of you? My name is John Cimino. I am here with you. And, of course, also here with you is my eyesore, Mr. Brandon Garrell. Say hello, Brandon.
Oh, hey, what's up?
And for all you Twitter folk, at TheJCMoney for me on Twitter, and at Brandon S. Garrell for him on the Twitter. You can follow him, and he won't post anything, so it's not really...
Oh, there was a time where I was using Twitter, and it was because I dumped Facebook, so now me and Facebook are dating again.
Yeah.
Twitter's my side piece.
There you go. Oh.
I hit it when I want to, which is not often.
Home to my side piece. I'm not going to come back. We're not going to come back to commercial from that song.
Yikes.
So. Anyways, we are sponsored by our Amazon page, powered by ShopGear.com. That's right. If you click ShopGear.com or type it, click it, whatever, takes you right to your Amazon account and do all your shopping. It is the easiest and breeziest way to support our programming. All right, here we go. Week 3, Brandon. How the hell's it going, man?
It's a mixed bag.
Mixed bag?
Yeah, not too happy with the way the Packers played last week, but there was some good games last week, though.
Before we get into that, I do need to take this time right now to thank the listeners. Last week, we now privately, and this is breaking down the walls here, we set ourselves a goal of what we wanted to accomplish with listener counts and things like that. Amount of playbacks, amount of downloads, things of that sort that you're always, curious about when you are in the podcasting world. We set a private goal, and that goal has been exceeded. And honest and truthfully, thank you all very much for doing that. That's an amazing shirt on Clothing Master there. But honestly and truthfully, thank you all for continuing to follow us as we build this brand, keep going forward. And not making me personally a very one-dimensional person. Succeeding in wrestling and entertainment is one thing, but then going into a completely different realm, talking sports when realistically, Brandon, I am not a journalist. You know what I mean? So
you have journalistic integrity, though.
To have that, to have that kind of success so soon. Thank you, listeners, very much. Brandon,
yes.
You should...
Listener plural, which is great.
Yes.
That's always great.
Yes.
It's not good to look at your download count. It's in the single digits.
Well, we were never in the single digits.
No, but I know some people that are.
Yes, we all do. All right, so...
Pig Latin is box lunch?
Oh, Jesus Christ, Brandon. What's the matter with you? Anyways.
Wait, cut to some music.
We are... You want music? Hold on. Hell no. All right. So, who else was saying hell no was the Minnesota Viking fans, Brandon. Week 2, in the game that you hinted to there, Minnesota and Green Bay, Adrian Peterson tears his meniscus. He's going to be out for... Now, here's the thing that was coming through to me. Multiple different alerts that were coming through.
Yeah.
Some were saying 3 to 4 weeks. Some were saying 3 to 4 months. Some were saying they weren't sure. They were, it was kind of all over.
Some
the place.
were saying he's doubtful for Saturday or for Sunday.
Right.
Some saying it's too early to tell.
Well, he was questionable at 8 o'clock this morning. Yeah. I know this because I have him on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
He was questionable, and then the first alert came out. He went down to doubtful. And then finally, after the third or fourth alert came out, I was able to put him on IR in my fantasy and pick up Matt Asiata because that dumbass DePrima, I know you're listening, and I called you a dumbass because you spent $4 more than I did on the waiver wire to get Jerick McKinnon. But
big deal.
Yeah,
did you see their run game last week? It was non-existent.
I did.
Even with Peterson in there, they couldn't run the ball, so whatever. It's not like the Packers are super stout.
But... That being said, they did. The Vikings did beat the Packers.
Yeah.
Behind with Sam Bradford, and I guess there was some sort of stat, and I'm trying to get it off of memory here.
I don't know. Call Chris Collinsworth. I'm sure he's got it all right there in his hand.
The first Vikings quarterback in several years to win his debut as a Viking quarterback.
It's because they don't have really good quarterback history. So
right.
Other than Tarkenstein over there.
Tarkenstein was a good quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. That's what him, and then you go all the way up to Dante Culpepper.
Oh.
I mean, that's really it.
Yes.
I can't think anyone notable.
Well,
besides Favre coming in, but he was remnants.
Here is a story of a team that did not have a quarterback issue after week 1. And now their quarterback status might be a little iffy for the next week or two. The New England Patriots.
Yeah.
Jimmy Garroppolo injures his shoulder, and it knocked him right out of the game.
It's a tough break.
In the game in the New England win against the Dolphins, rookie Jacoby Brissett is set to start. Jimmy G is questionable for week 3. Chances are he's probably going to suit up in an emergency situation, but they're not going to use him. They have Julian Edelman, wide receiver, going in as the backup quarterback.
It doesn't matter. That franchise, all they do is win. So
they have their way of winning. So I ask you this, Brandon: is this when the game was going on and Jimmy G was putting
was taking him to the woodshed,
putting the stomp on the Dolphins? Here's his stat line before he was taken out. By the way, 18 of 27, 234 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, and that was midway through the second quarter.
It was pretty bad, and I mean, this was a team that in Miami that went into Seattle, which is a tough place to play, and pretty much shut down Russell Wilson to the last drive.
Exactly.
And Jimmy G comes out there and he's dinking and dunking all over the field and just picking them apart. And this is supposed to be, this huge defense that's supposed to just dominate up front and out, out behind there, and they just got taken to the woodshed.
So here's the thing: is during the game, as Jimmy G was lighting them up, you were saying, funny Tom Brady memes about, because how everybody always loves to do stuff like that. You know, John Elway should trade a first-round pick to New England Patriots right now for Tom Brady, and then Jimmy G gets taken out, and now it's like, does this hurt him? Does this hurt him?
Hurt Garoppolo?
Yes. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't recall if this is his final year of his rookie contract.
Yeah, it is. I believe it is his final year of his rookie contract.
So does him not being able to play as much, throughout the 4 games, does that hurt his chances to either succeed Tom Brady? Is he going to stay? Is he going to go and try his luck somewhere
else?
Depends. And get the money? Is Belichick going to do the thing that he did for Matt Castle, which was franchise him for a year, which bumped him up to $16 million a year, and then trade him?
I don't know. Honestly, I could see them franchising him, but honestly, someone's going to pay big bucks for him. I mean, we saw Matt Flynn have one good game, and then everyone was tripping all over themselves trying to grab him. So I wouldn't say that this is going to hurt him. He has a game and a half of pretty solid play against 2 pretty good defenses, without their best weapon in Gronkowski too. And a kind of a makeshift line at the time. New England's had some line issues. So someone's going to take a chance on him. What New England does remains a mystery, because you never can tell with that team. They might trade him tomorrow. They're kind of unpredictable that way. So we'll see.
Do you think that there is talent there, or that
he's talented.
That is a product of the system?
No, he's talented.
Because Matt Castle showed signs of talent, and he had a very good year when he was a Patriot, but then he was traded to the Chiefs and 7,000 other teams after that.
Well, the Chiefs, he won to a Pro Bowl too with the Chiefs, so he wasn't all bad. Just bad situations. I didn't think Castle didn't look as good as this when he played for New England. So I think Garoppolo's got talent. Garoppolo was pretty well touted. He was good in college. So he played at a smaller university, but a lot of guys do. I mean,
it's usually those quarterbacks that are passed up.
Right, they're the guys that
make the biggest difference.
Right. I mean, look, Alex Smith is finally coming into his own. How many years later?
I think it's his 12th or 13th now. At this point,
something like. No, I don't know about that.
05, right?
05.
They were drafted 05.
Yeah,
so this would be his 12th season.
Yeah. Well, 11th. It's 2016.
Right, but you
He's drafted in 05.
Yes, he was drafted
So he
in
doesn't
05.
play till 06.
05 is his first, was his first season. They include
All right,
the first
so that's
year.
11.
Right.
That's still 11.
No, 11 would have been last season. You include the 05 season,
Yes.
his 10th season
He's
would have been
played 11
04.
seasons, though.
He's played 11 seasons.
in
He's
his
on his
12th.
12th, which
All
is
right.
what I said.
All right. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't argue with me there.
All right.
All right, let's go to AFC and NFC offensive and defensive players of the week. This one puts a smile on my face. Not so much the Buffalo Bills fan base. Ryan bleepin' Fitzpatrick. I was cursing him week 1. Fitz went Fitz. Through the game, losing interception against Cincinnati, lost by a point. 24 of 34, 374 yards, 1 touchdown against the Bills. What was up with the Bills' defense that they allowed Fitzpatrick? Now, we'll get into the Bills' game a little bit later because they could have just as easily won the game.
Right.
But the defense really let the offense, the Jets' offense, do what they wanted with them.
Well, they couldn't cover anybody. I mean, they were just terrible. I mean, who's Anunwa? Did anybody know him before the game except for Jets fans? I don't think anybody in the country really knew or
I still can't
cared.
pronounce his last name.
Yeah, it's Anunwa.
Anunwa.
Yeah.
right.
And you probably can't spell it, and neither can I, but I know there's a W in there maybe, but probably not.
The W is silent.
But yeah, I mean, they couldn't cover him, and then it's like, okay, well, we'll double him, and it's like, oh, Marshall's wide open. Oh, Decker's wide open. Oh, Todd Bowles is wide open and streaking down the sideline. I mean, it was ridiculous. They couldn't cover anybody.
Yeah, it was pretty awful for them. Von Miller takes the AFC Defensive Player of the Week honors because of his forced fumble on Andrew Luck during the Broncos win over the Colts, which, of course,
slow week for defense, I guess.
It was a slow week for defense in AFC. Look at the Bills game, for Christ's sakes. I mean, over to the NFC side. Sorry, Brandon. Stephon Diggs, NFC Offensive Player of the Week.
Oh, yeah.
9 receptions, 110 yards, 1 touchdown. He was targeted 10 times. And
he got the benefit of Sam Shields sitting on the bench, so
indeed,
enjoy it this week.
Indeed, he was also sitting on a lot of fantasy players' benches.
Yep.
And Defensive Player of the Week honors go to Marcus Cooper. Marcus Cooper. 2 interceptions, 1 went for a 60-yard touchdown in the victory against Tampa Bay. So, that is your AFC and NFC offensive and defensive player of the week. Give a little something new here.
Yeah, sure.
Why not?
It's news to me.
So let's talk about news specifically to the local folks here, Brandon.
Yeah.
As you well know, the day after the Bills lost to the Jets, which I was happy for, by the way.
Oh, they should have fired him right on the field.
The Bills fired offensive coordinator Greg Roman and replaced him with running backs coach Anthony Lynn. Now, this is where some people kind of go back and forth on, so I'm going to ask you this.
Yeah.
The Bills' offense made up 24 of Buffalo's 31 points against the Jets.
Correct.
You are in favor of this move.
Absolutely.
Why?
They've got a lot of talent on that side of the ball. He's supposed to be this run game guru where he has this real creative running game. I have not seen LaShawn McCoy be LaShawn McCoy since he's come to Buffalo. He's had a couple moments where he goes shady, but most of the time he ain't doing squat. They got Charles Clay. The guy's hardly ever involved in the offense. The guy was a major target in Miami. He was a big centerpiece that they were doing. And they don't go after Sammy Watkins very often. I mean, they got to try to get him the ball 3 times last game.
Sammy Watkins, in their defense, is hurt.
He is hurt, but he's out on the field. You got to try to throw the ball to him. Mm-hmm. He was open on a few plays, and they don't go to him, but they don't go to him as often as they should. I think Roman is just not a very good coordinator. He was not a good coordinator with the San Francisco 49ers. He was good for 1 year, and again, so was Colin Kaepernick. That's how he got a job.
And that's what I was going to kind of reference and ask you if you felt that he got that position in Buffalo because, one, Buffalo will overpay to bring people in to try and,
they went by name.
Turn the fortunes around.
Right.
And two, because of that 1 year that he had with Colin Kaepernick.
I mean, look what he did afterwards. I mean, were the 49ers very good after that? Not really. So, steady decline every year. And, I thought he was a terrible coordinator. I thought he was a terrible fit. Today's game doesn't call for heavy dose of running. Running needs to be a complement to your game. Mm-hmm. And,
I feel
this game's about the wide receivers, and they have a good wide receivers.
They had a better grasp of that aspect of it last season.
Yeah.
For some reason or another, either the league...
And McCoy's healthy.
Either the league has figured out Tyrod Taylor.
No.
You say no, but
No.
He had a couple of those big long bombs against the Jets. But again, he's not running around like he was last time.
Right, he's trying to pass.
And that's probably the problem.
No.
No. They had a good healthy complement of the run pass last year, which made them...
Which is all why he got hurt twice last year, too. You got to keep your quarterback safe. You run when it's smart. He didn't have opportunities where it was smart. He didn't take bad sacks. He threw the ball away when he needed to throw the ball away. He was hitting receivers. He was hitting open receivers. I didn't see a lot of creativity when it came to like route running. You'd watch when he'd have to throw it away. They'd show this guy, they'd show that guy, and they show the other guy on the field. And one little stutter step, and then it's like, okay, now break off your route. And they're not open. It was easy to cover. Again, they've got so much talent on that side of the ball. They should be doing a lot better than they're doing and did last season. I mean, he wasn't there, and they had Kyle Orton at quarterback, and they didn't have LaShawn McCoy at running back. They didn't have Fred Clay. They didn't have those guys, but yet they still went 9-7. With boring what's his face.
Doug Marrone
over there.
Mm-hmm.
They won with him, and then Rex comes into town and gets a whole new staff and new players, and they underperform, and then they're on the road to underperform this year. They could go 0-4 to start the season.
They could. Now let me ask you this, because that's a good segue here. They play Arizona next.
Yep.
After that, and they're in Arizona, by the way. After that, they play New England.
Yeah. Just the team that they wanted to play.
Right.
Arizona. That's the team we need right now, says Rex.
Team they need.
Okay, Rex.
If they go 0-4,
yeah,
what's next for Buffalo? I'm not saying they're going to fire Rex Ryan. Buffalo Sports Radio is doing enough of that right now. I'm not.
Yeah.
So let's just say they're not going to fire Rex Ryan after an 0-4 start. Given how they let go of Greg Roman 2 games in, would they start to look at the defensive side? The defense did give up 37 points to the Jets, so it wasn't really all the offense's fault.
Well, I mean, they brought the jolly old worst defensive coordinator from the worst defense in the league in to coach their defense, so that one's pretty simple to solve. I mean, I understand Rex thinking, oh, this will be fun to bring my brother. You gotta win, bro, and your brother sucks. I don't know, man. I think he was short the defensive chromosome when you guys were born as twins.
Look at the Saints.
Yeah.
Before Bountygate, when Greg Williams was coach. Greg Williams was there. They were. He was,
by the way, the Rams' defensive coach, and you saw what they did last week.
Right. They were a force.
Right.
Rob Ryan comes in after the Bountygate thing.
Yeah, well, look what he did in Dallas.
Exactly.
He was terrible in Dallas. He's terrible in New Orleans, and he's continued his trend over here in Buffalo.
So, with that being said...
I'll get rid of him now.
If they go 0-4, what happens? What do they do?
I'm sure Buffalo... They won't fire him, but I'm sure they're really going to be hoping up on one Bills drive that he has like a meatball hoagie-induced stroke and just can't coach anymore. And they dedicate a wing of the locker room, like the left urinal or whatever, to his name. I don't know, but the guy's terrible. I have no idea why they hired that clown shoe, other than just to like get more eyes on the team. But honestly, he's terrible, and he needs to go.
I'm going to channel my inner Macho Man Randy Savage when I say this. Brandon, I have not seen that level of savage ever. Yeah. Man, wow. Freak out. Let's go.
He's terrible. He needs to go. And I'm sure plenty of Bills fans are agreeing that that guy needs to go and probably didn't want him in the first place and probably were rolling their eyes pretty hard when he came in. So
yeah.
Whatever.
That's what Rex does.
Go. They're going to go 0-4.
Okay. Let's let me bring it up here.
I'd love for him to go 0-16. Wouldn't that be, man?
Oh my God, that would be glorious. As a Jets fan,
that'd be even better than the Lions going 0-16.
As a Jets fan living in Bills country, that would be Hilarious.
Rex removed his lap band. Oh, you'd be so fat by the end of the season. He'd have like one of those little wheel things that you put.
Let's get a goddamn snack.
When they got those little wheel things that you use in the cart where you lean your knee on. They're gonna just have that to roll his belly around with. It's gonna be like a wheelbarrow.
Oh,
all
right.
It's gonna be bad, Buffalo. I'm sorry. I had hope for you guys. I thought you'd get a wild card this year, but
does your wild card pick now become the Jets?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. All right,
maybe.
We'll see.
Maybe.
All right, scores time. So NFL prime time. Woo!
Chris Carter is mad at you for you and that.
He is.
Salt.
New York Jets 37, Buffalo 31. San Francisco goes to Carolina after their big win against LA
and
loses 46-27. Carolina wins. The Pittsburgh Steelers 24, Cincinnati Bengals 16. Brandon, upset central here. We both picked Washington. Dallas 27-23 over Washington.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins had a bad fourth quarter.
A real bad fourth quarter. Here's a fun one.
Cowboys deserve to be 0-2.
After being...
But they're going to be 2-1 because they got to play the Bears this week.
After being ahead 20-6.
Yep.
The Baltimore Ravens come back 25-20 winners over the Cleveland Browns. Brandon,
20-2.
It was 20-2?
Yeah, it was 22. They went to kick the extra point and they got blocked and they ran it back for 2 points.
Oh,
and that's when the slide began.
Oh, poor Cleveland.
Cleveland?
Houston winners over Kansas City 19-12. The New York Giants winners over the New Orleans Saints in a thriller 16-13.
Yeah, no offensive touchdowns scored by the New York Football Giants.
Crazy, isn't it?
One for the Saints, that big offense and Drew Brees.
Crazy. New England Patriots 31, 24 winners over Miami. Jimmy Garroppolo, as we talked about earlier, lost for the game. Jacoby Brissett took over and they almost lost the game.
Yeah, it was garbage time.
Pretty much. Tennessee Titans 16, Detroit 15. Big game here, LA, the Los Angeles Rams, Brandon. Not only did they end the streak of 21 seasons or 22 seasons of not scoring a point,
they still don't have a touchdown.
They won 9-3 over Seattle. Brandon, is Seattle in trouble?
No. They did this last year too. They floundered for a while and then they figured it out. They'll be fine. Unfortunately.
Jameis Winston.
Famous crab legs.
Unlike last week where he threw for 4 touchdowns and looked dominant and was picked up on a lot of people's waiver wires, throws 4 interceptions in a 40-7 loss to the Arizona Cardinals.
He got distracted. He saw his South Park avatar.
That's greatest avatar. San Diego 38, Jacksonville 14, Denver over Indianapolis 34-20. The Atlanta Dirty Birds. They get their first win of the season, Brandon. 35-28 winners over
Boo.
Here's a boo one for you, too. Sunday Night Football, Minnesota 17.
Yep.
Green Bay 14.
Yeah, Green Bay doesn't look like they once did. I don't know what's going on with that offense.
And finally, Monday Night Football, Carson Wentz. Is that his name? That's his name, Carson Wentz.
That's his name.
Carson Wentz.
You got it. Ding, ding, ding. Right. You're a winner.
Carson Wentz and the Philadelphia Eagles, 29-14 winners over the Chicago Bears. The Bears. Sorry, Steve Cruz, I know you were there, but yeah.
Well, that's what you get for being a Bears fan.
Yeah, so interesting note for that game, Jay Cutler takes himself out of the game. He
busted up thumb.
He busted up his thumb pretty bad. Brian Hoyer will be your week 3, excuse me.
Yeah, he'll be your next 3-week quarterback, actually. We talk about one thing in those scores that we kind of glossed over.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
What about Phillip Rivers? What do you think he's rated? Because every time you watch that team, you see receiver, tight end, running back, third-string running back, lineman, everyone going down with season-ending injuries, and this guy's still putting up numbers.
Yep.
I mean, loses Keenan Allen again last week. Done for the year. Mm-hmm. Loses Danny Woodhead during this game. And what did he do? 38 points. No big whoop.
220 yards, 4 touchdowns. On the season, Phillip Rivers, 42 of 60, 463 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
Right. The guy can ball.
Not bad.
They'd be 2-0 if they didn't collapse against the Chiefs.
Enjoy them while you have them, San Diego, because you're probably going to the Coliseum next year. We'll talk about that as the season progresses. But when we come back, we got to go to a commercial break, Brandon. When we come back, Gear Network Pick'em Talk and a big matchup this week in fantasy football. Whatever could I be talking about?
I don't know.
You'll find out when we come back.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Mr. Gabriel Soul.
And I'm Pat G.
The G stands for gangster. And you are listening to the Turnbuckle Talk Radio Podcast, baby.
Every week live and exclusively on the Gear Network.
Where we talk about indie wrestling, national wrestling, WWE, TNA, ROH, every single independent wrestling scene that we get information on, plus our opinions on such.
Find it only on the Gear Network app, iTunes, and more.
You always got to go to GearNetwork.com to tune in and listen to my voice every single week, because I know you love it. And the reason why is because you get eargasms, baby.
And if you want those eargasms, tune in every week. Otherwise, we only have one word for you.
Cyclone!
Hey everyone, John Cimino here for the Gear Radio Network, and you have asked and asked repeatedly, what is up with the app? We know you have one, and you never push it, you never do anything with it. Well, guess what? We got a better one, and it is free, it is absolutely available for you, and there's so much more you can do with it. Visit GearNetwork.com and click Get the App. It's up on the top banner, or if you're feeling really brave, head to gearnetwork.mobapp.at on your mobile phone and your mobile phone's browser, and you can take Gear Network with you wherever you go. Listen to every show on the Gear Network right from the app. You can view all of our social networks in real time. You can read Gear Network and BLTDsports.com blogs in real time, and you can also shop Amazon and help us out and help you out. It is free. Did I mention that? Again, gearnetwork.com or gearnetwork.mobapp.at. Download it right now.
Let me clear my throat.
Oh! Hey, Brandon. Have mercy.
I hope you don't mind. Let me clear my
Welcome back, everybody. Oh, you're a little too early, man. Here
I
we go,
gotta do it because I didn't think you were gonna cut it off.
Here we go. Ready?
Check it out.
We are back here on the Football Talk Weekly Podcast, just having a little fun, and it is time, Brandon, ladies and gentlemen, Gear Network Pick'em Talk time here. All right, so we are now on week 3. Through the first 2 weeks, Brandon, I went 8-8 last week. You went 9-7.
Woo! Buffalo Bills 2 years ago.
That's right. So on the season, I am at 17-15, and Brandon, you are 18-14 on the season.
Yeah.
Now for week,
Sorry.
that's okay. I'll forgive you.
2-week champion.
That's all right. All right. Well, should we get the championship belt? Should I bring the championship belt, even though they can't see it? We could maybe do a Facebook Live one of these times.
Yeah.
Maybe passing the belt or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But
let's do it.
Do it like NFL and CBS does. Where Shannon Sharp was like, I'll do champion every week. He's not on there anymore. Though.
No, he's on that terrible show with Skip Bayless now.
Is he like replacement Stephen A. for that?
No, because you know what? As much as we crack on Shannon Sharp, at least he has a thoughtful thought.
Yeah.
From time to time. I can't say the same about Stephen A. That guy is just... miserable.
Let me tell you
I had to
something.
see him when I was running on the treadmill the other day, and I just wanted to... I wanted to off myself.
Stephen A. made an appearance on my wife's soap opera.
Huh?
He was a mob enforcer.
Oh, yeah. I can really believe that.
Like a mob. No, he was what was he? No, he wasn't a mob enforcer.
Was he a
was
bookie?
He was like the intel, the mob intel.
Oh, so he's a snitch.
Yeah, something like that. But working for the mob boss on her soap. It was
All right.
actually pretty funny. I was waiting for him to start throwing some, racial type, why does it have to be this way, or whatever, like he always does.
So let's save that for another time, but let's talk about why your wife watches soaps.
Well, let's watch soaps.
Ugh.
What's wrong with that?
Ugh.
I watch wrestling. That's kind of like a soap.
Listen, I know Dawn. She's intelligent, smart woman. She doesn't need that stuff. There's better things to do.
Hi, Don. How you doing?
Hey, Dawn.
Executive producer. All right, week 3. we disagree on 5 games. Jets, Kansas City, Denver, Cincinnati, Baltimore, Jacksonville, Dirty Birds, and the Saints. Brandon, Jets, Kansas City. You've got Kansas City. I obviously have New York for the same reason I always do. So, what is your take? Why do you pick Kansas City over New York, besides the fact that I picked New York?
That's most of it, just to argue with you. Okay. Kansas City's defense has looked pretty good. The offense has not been bad. They weren't great last week, but Houston's pretty tough, like I said earlier. So, yeah, I'm maybe the Jets will be riding a little high from their win against Buffalo, and maybe the Chiefs will be just too mad, and something will happen. I don't know.
All right,
it can go either way.
Fair enough. Let's go Denver, Cincinnati here. Do you think? Yeah. Do you think? I'm going to put this here. Do you think Cincinnati's defense is better than Denver's offense?
Yes.
Is that why you pick Cincinnati over Denver?
Yes, because Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown aren't going to be on the other side of the ball. It's at home, so it's not in Denver. And DeMarcus Ware is out. So I think that Cincinnati is going to get off to Schneid, and from a tough emotional loss last week against Pittsburgh. Thought they got kind of jobbed on that fumble call, but whatever. And yeah, I think Cincinnati will bounce back, and Trevor Siemian, he's been serviceable, but there's nothing about him that's really impressed me.
He's not the reason Denver is winning games.
He's a better Mark Sanchez,
right? Pretty much. And on the flip side of that, I'm taking Denver's defense over Cincinnati's offense.
Yeah,
I know there's it's 1:00 and afternoon or daytime Dalton and he still has AJ Green.
Daytime Dalton.
That's right. Daytime Dalton and AJ Green.
Sounds like a soap opera character.
Hey, there we go. And now these are the daytime Daltons. But
the days of our Dalton.
It's not like Cincinnati is playing the worst defense in the league.
No, they're not.
They're playing one of the toughest.
Pittsburgh's not a bad defense either, though. So,
right.
And they looked pretty good against them, and the Jets also have a good defense, and they looked pretty good against them too. So,
yeah,
I gotta say,
I mean, it's again, that's one of the ones that could go either way.
I think it's time for Denver to get punched in the mouth. I mean, they should have lost week 1.
Yes,
they got fortunate they were playing the Colts in week 2. I'm still not sold on Andrew Luck. He does great commercials, but outside that, I'm not sure what else he's doing lately besides collecting big checks.
Right, pretty much. He's Peyton Manning 2.0 there as far as that goes.
He does not have that forehead, though.
No, he does not. Got that beard, though. All right, Baltimore, Jacksonville. I picked Baltimore. You picked Jacksonville.
Yeah, Jacksonville's going to rebound. They're going to be at home. They're going to be pretty ticked off after the performance they laid an egg out in San Diego last week. I expect to see him a little better, more on track with what we saw against Green Bay. They're going to get Chris Ivory back this week, so that'll help in the backfield.
That a definite?
He practiced in full today, so
okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess that he's probably going to play.
And I'm going to go ahead and bench TJ Yeldon then.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can do it, but just keep an eye on it.
Yeah, maybe.
But all signs are pointing that he says he feels good. He practiced, so I say he's a good shot at playing this weekend. But
I'm going to take Baltimore on that only because again,
you love Joe Flacco.
That's my boy, man.
He's elite.
I don't want to say he's not Broadway. I don't want to go Broadway Joe. Not Hollywood. He's not Hollywood. He's Baltimore. What's Baltimore? What's Baltimore? Baltimore Flacco. All right. We'll go with that. Like Baltimore Billy from Mike O'Mara. Baltimore Flacco. That's the best I got. I'm sorry. And then Monday Night Football game. We
Joe Flacco.
Baltimore Billy. The Monday night game we disagreed on. I picked the Dirty Birds for obvious reasons. That's my bandwagon team. That's my team that I secretly love. Against the New Orleans Saints. I'm taking Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. Matt Ryan currently, as it stands right now, going into Week 3, leads the NFL in passing yards and QBR. So I'm taking that combination over a New Orleans Saints defense that is just still recovering from Rob Ryan. They're not good.
Yeah, I'm taking Drew Brees' offense on a Monday night in the Dome. And Atlanta always looks like they're going to turn a corner, and then they lay an egg right afterwards. So they had a real good win last week after a real bad loss the week before. Mm-hmm. I think it's time to go back to the real bad loss again.
Okay. Fair enough. And then, so that's that for the Gear Network Pick'em, where you disagree on 5. So
sound like Porky Pig there. Ba-deep, ba-deep, ba-deep.
Yeah, here we go. I was thinking more.
That's that.
I was thinking more.
Well, I said it's that. That's that.
Thursday Night Football on the Columbia Broadcasting System, my friends. The Houston Texans and the New England Patriots.
Yep.
Jacoby Brissett.
Oh, is this a color rush game?
It is a color rush game, yes.
What are the Pats' color rush? Are they all red? Oh, please.
No. They're not. They're not all red. I can't remember what they are. I think they're like a blackish kind of thing. I don't remember offhand.
I gotta see this.
I could be wrong.
Keep talking. I'm gonna look it up.
Anyways, Jacoby Brissett, first start. He's a rookie. It's on Thursday night under the lights. Everybody is going to wonder what he's like. Big pressure for him against the Houston Texans that has a pretty decent defense. They're 2-0. Brandon, who you got?
I picked the Texans because Jacoby Brissett, probably not going to have that great a game. They're going to need him to. I could be wrong. He could turn out to be great. I don't know. But Houston's playing really well right now. They're getting some confidence. Osweiler's playing well. The offense has started to gel. The defense is playing, good defense, good strong defense. They're limiting their team's chances. They're getting pressure on the quarterback. So I think that all those factors combined, I think it is going to be too much for New England. I say New England goes into 2-1.
I would have picked Houston anyways, even if Jimmy Garroppolo was starting. But the game would have been much, much closer in my opinion. Houston's defense is a good defense. Wade Phillips is still there, if I'm not mistaken, as their defense. No, he's in Denver. I'm sorry. Wade Phillips isn't in Houston. He's long since been removed. But either way, as you said, their offense is gelling. Fuller and Osweiler, they're showing that they're meshing pretty well together. The defense is coming together. I think Houston's a pretty good team. With Garoppolo, it would have been... Well, let me just...
It's a weird navy blue, all navy blue.
Is it?
With some weird red stripes. I don't like Color Rush.
I don't know. Color Rush is garbage.
It needs to be taken out back and shot.
With Garoppolo, it would have been 23-21 Houston. Without Garoppolo, I'm going to say 21-10 Houston. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. You feel me?
Nope.
Nasty. All right, well, that's the end of the NFL talk. Brandon, what in the holy hell is going on with Notre Dame?
Their defense stinks.
They're done. I mean, their playoff hopes are done.
Oh, they're done. Yeah, this is just going to be a showcase for Deshaun Kaiser to be a top pick for a quarterback in the NFL draft this coming season.
That's a shame.
That's all we're going to see. Unless the rest of the BCS rankings start falling apart, I don't see them getting anywhere near anything other than like a irrelevant bowl on like December 20th. the Midas Muffler 2006 Exhaust Bowl or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Unbelievable.
It's going to be bad. It's disappointing because they came in with a lot of hope, but it went in the toilet when they got 6 defensive players arrested and suspended from the team for dumb stuff.
It really slowed their momentum
It's
down.
not supposed to be happening at Notre Dame.
No,
That's not the school that does that.
Right, exactly.
And they did, so they haven't been able to recover since. That they got really exposed against Texas. Then they played Nevada. Nevada's not great, so of course they lit them up. But then Michigan State's got some defense. They can hold that offense for a little while. They almost came back, but you just can't allow that much.
Incidentally, those were Big Ten referees that were officiating the game too.
Yeah,
so
I don't like to be referee guy.
No,
I hate being referee guy.
I'm on the same boat with you there.
I mean, that Terrell Pryor call was ridiculous,
but
taunting.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the ball, ref. Oh, you didn't catch it? Oh, you taunted the guy that's below you.
Right.
Well, where's he supposed to go with it?
Yeah.
Put under his shirt and run around and go, get me, get me.
Yes.
Tickle fight. Des No Doubt Beckham.
Oh, no.
Tickle fight.
No. Des No Doubt Beckham. Jesus, that was a hilarious meme, by the way.
Uh-huh.
All right, Notre Dame, according to my scores here, or my things here,
if they're playing a non-ranked team, then they're going to win.
Okay.
If they're off this week,
They're off.
then they won.
They're off.
Hey, that's a win for all of us.
There we go.
I get my Saturday back.
Perfect. All right. That is going to do it for us. I get my Saturday back, too. That's going to do it for us for this week. Week 3 of the Football Talk Weekly Podcast. Season 2 is in the books. Again, I want to take this opportunity and thank all of you guys for listening last week and continuing to listen this week. And as always, continuing to support the Gear Network by visiting shopgear.com or buying one of my shirts at prowrestlingtees.com/thejcmoney. Great ways to both support the brand and support us. So, all right, Brandon, next week, shall we do this again?
Yeah. I think I can clear my schedule for it.
All right, why don't you go ahead, clear your busy schedule, and we'll get this thing going here. But thanks a lot, everybody, for listening. Brandon, good day to you, sir.
Good day to you.
So long, everybody. Good night now.
Remember to see more National Football League action next week.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.